Hey everybody, welcome to Tuesday. First boss fight content dropped yesterday. Exciting. It feels more real now. Um, there will be a very big Patreon update that's going to be a combination of how COVID-19 slash coronavirus is affecting the production of boss fight, as well as some super cute previews, like cute and kind of crazy and insane. So if you're interested in that, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Patrons get everything first. Everything. That's the joy of being a patron. What you guys get today is my committed mental patient chic wardrobe. I didn't think about what I was wearing before I started filming and went, egad, this is what happens when I'm in get it done on deadline creative mode. Patrons are going to hear about that too. There's some kind of cool things happening. I'm not going to talk about publicly. There are certain details I can't disclose to anybody yet, but patrons get first access. You know, if you care enough about my content to kick me a couple bucks, you get things first. You get inside stuff about, you know, what's going on. Also, it's a form of disclosure that isn't taking too much away from these videos. So help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. That's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today, sorry for the distraction, I'm bopping around to different frames to make sure this looks right. I got a press release about this story about a week ago. And I admit at first I went, here we go again, bashing gamers for toxicity. But I read it because, you know, it was a PR guy and I'm like, hey, why not? I need some interesting gaming content. So I gave it a shot. And I looked at the blog post and actually found it quite funny. Often coverage of these sorts of studies is very geared towards propping up ingrained biases that the author has going in. I don't think this one did. And the publicist was also nice enough to share some stats with me that I can't show the graphs because they're not as pretty as the ones they released to the public, but I can read you the findings. And it was an important additional piece in the whole thing that I thought was important to include. Yeah, I've got the wrong shot. There we go. That's the right shot. Here we are. Okay. First off, I have no idea what the Clutch blog is. If you hate it, I'm sorry. I know nothing about it. I'm coming in here blind. I'm just going based on the article written by Tyler McGlasson. Again, know nothing about him. I found this well written and amusing. So this is note, offensive language in this article has been censored by Clutch. Interesting. The original version I saw that wasn't published here, had the bad language in it. So I will use the bad language. I will put the bad language back in because fuck yeah, gaming. And I'm not going to read all the preamble because there's no point. What this article is based on is that they took various subreddits and ran it through the IBM AI-based toxic comment classifier. And this is a combination of sort of interesting findings, but also kind of interesting examples of how AI cannot read human subtlety very well yet. And I just realized I'm on the wide shot down there. That's okay. You just see big room instead. It's kind of messy. My life is messy right now. So what they detail how IBM's technology works. IBM technology, humans give thousands of Wikipedia comments a toxicity rating, including rating whether the comment was toxic, obscene, threatening, insulting, or targeted towards identity hate. Those comments, along with the human's ratings, were then fed into IBM's machine learning algorithm. So they taught the machine as best they could how to identify toxic comments. And ideally, that means the AI can read a comment it's never seen before and determine how toxic a comment is. Now, there were some snafus, but they managed to analyze the toxicity of 1.3 million Reddit comments from the 100 most popular gaming subreddits. Now, in this article, is the most toxic communities as determined by this IBM AI. From the publicist, I got what they determined to be the least toxic communities. I thought that was very important. If we're going to go after the most toxic communities, I think it's not a complete story unless you give credit to the communities that, according to a machine, are not toxic. Now, even the communities that were labeled as toxic, there are some caveats. And this is the fun part of the article, but it's also what makes me take it sort of more seriously in terms of a look at the issue. Now, you'll notice that Payday the Heist is way out in front in terms of the most toxic language as determined by artificial intelligence. If you can't read the rest of the list here, these are all subreddits, so I won't go like our Payday the Heist, our Modern Warfare. I'll just read the games that the subreddits are surrounding. So it's Payday, Modern Warfare, Rust, Black Ops 4, Dota 2, Mortal Kombat, Battlefield, Mountain Blade, League of Legends, and The Binding of Isaac. Now, based on my own experiences with the Mortal Kombat community, I am not surprised to find Mortal Kombat on that list. But you notice how few other fighting games are there, which somewhat, with caveats, confirms the fact that there's something unique about uniquely toxic about the Mortal Kombat community. It's not a fighting game thing. You don't see Street Fighter there. You don't see Soul Calibur there. You don't see Tekken or anything like that there. Dead or Alive, right? You don't see them there. It's just Mortal Kombat. So Mortal Kombat got some work to do while they're telling women to cover up by proxy. But that Payday the Heist score does have a caveat. And before we get there, it deals with how do you feel about trash talk? And I found this to be interesting as well. How people actually, this was an earlier survey of 2,500 Clutch users. Nearly half expect trash talk, 46.3%. It's part of gaming. People should learn to take criticism. I don't consider trash talk criticism. I think that's a poorly written question, just for me to say, just in my opinion. But it's interesting that a minority expect trash talk as part of gaming. That surprises me that it wasn't higher than that. I think it may be because of how the question was worded. Now, sorry, that's only 26.8%. I misread that. Oh, wow, this is totally messed. Okay, the text here and what the graph actually says are different. So excuse me, I'm going to take this again. I'm just going to look at the graph, not the text about the graph. So the largest percentage, 46.3%, do not say they expect trash talk and see it all as in good fun. What they were actually asked is, it's fine as long as it's all in good fun and nobody gets upset. That's the largest single response. And I think that's healthy. I think that's actually the most sane response, okay? 26.8% is as part of gaming. People should learn to take criticism. To me, again, that doesn't distinguish between trash talk and criticism. Criticism's one thing. Criticism makes you better. Trash talk is designed to get in your head and throw you off your game. Like, trash talk isn't necessarily true. It's just something designed to make you mad, right? 22.8% say it's not good. Just keep your comments positive and friendly. And then just leave me alone altogether. That's probably what button I would have hit. Just leave me alone. But see, this is the problem with trash talk, right? You've got a large minority, almost half, are like, it depends, right? Which is I think, like I said, the healthiest response. If everybody's okay with it, gravy, groovy, it makes the game more fun for the people there. Everybody's in on the jokes. As if somebody gets upset, no, it's no longer good. But then you've got the people going, you're too sensitive. And then you got the people going, trash talk is never acceptable. And so you've got a quarter and a quarter, give or take, on these extremes, wrecking everything for the largest group, which is we have brains, we can decide for ourselves. And that we have brains part is kind of what factors into big data analysis. Again, as I get into this, the big takeaway here is AI is not there yet. And I give this article credit for pointing that out. So going back to Payday the Heist being so high, okay, it seems like a particular achievement threw off the ranking on that, because Like a Fucking Sputnik is the name of an achievement in the game. The AI classified this comment as toxic with a score of 99 on the toxicity scale out of 100. But Like a Fucking Sputnik is actually a celebration not being toxic. It's just a meme. It also goes to say that there's a lot of toxicity on this subreddit that has nothing to do with the Like a Fucking Sputnik. Obviously, because it got 100 and Like a Fucking Sputnik was only rated at 99. I'm saying Like a Fucking Sputnik a lot because it's a hilarious achievement name. So while we can sort of go, all right, if you're in this group, I mean, let's face it, League of Legends knows it has a problem and it's working on it. Battlefield is really ironic because of the way DICE has been at war with its fan base over this sort of thing. I wish there was a year-to-year comparison. The technology is too new to do that, but it would be great to. I would have loved to see if the toxicity actually got worse after they did the whole thing of what historical accuracy when we can be politically correct. Certain other communities, somebody's going to have to explain why Mountain Blade and Binding of Isaac are so high. Binding of Isaac pops up. And Rust, like, what's going on with Rust? Someone explain this to me. Modern Warfare does not surprise me. I think for obvious reasons, we all sort of know why. That community is just sort of known. Again, Modern Warfare, Black Ops, a lot of crossover. Defense of the Ancients 2, like Dota 2, and this may just be my bias here, that community sort of goes back so far that I'd have to see a drill down to be sure that ranking is in proper context. But obviously, like, if you are on this list, Payday, I think they don't fucking care because they're Like a Fucking Sputnik. That's fine. You know, Payday games, you know what you're getting into, right? You notice GTA, Grand Theft Auto, is not on this list. GTA appears in other lists, but it's not on this list. And I find that very interesting because of all the games that get a bad rap in gaming, it's GTA. But so far, not that toxic. Identifying identity hate. This one surprised me. Okay. Most of the games here don't even crack 70%. Okay, a 70 out of 100. But Binding of Isaac is at 100. I'm like, what? Why? What is it about that game? Again, it was apparently something that threw the AI off. There was a meme that happened to be in all the spam. The top post of all time on that subreddit is titled, "In all the spam, no one will see that I'm gay. I'm gay." Okay, this is ready to be memed because just someone types real fast. The people who ran the article, who ran the AI data said, we believe this is actually a reference to when people post things in a fast-moving Twitch chat, hoping their comment gets swallowed into the void of endless comments. And so it got picked up as a meme with a joke. It gives examples of, oh no, this is from Battlegrounds. Identity hate, drop in the N-word, racism against Chinese people. But I think we can kind of exclude Binding of Isaac from this list because that meme threw it off. But look at how low Grand Theft Auto actually ranked with all the hate this game gets, especially with sexism. Look at how low it ranked. It's up there with Crusader Kings, right? Okay, there's a 9-point split. That's significant, but, well, not quite 9. But it's on par with Overwatch for identity hate, according to this algorithm. But it's interesting that Overwatch and Team Fortress 2 are about in the same... War Thunder. I just found out what War Thunder is. I feel smart with that now. But Mountain Blade's up there again. Oblivion is higher, but still not, I mean, compared to the toxic comments, like everything's above 70 in the toxic language analysis. But identity hate, not really that much. I mean, if you take out Rust, again, what the fuck is happening with the Rust community? Please someone explain it to me. I have no point of reference for this. And Binding of Isaac, which is an anomaly, nothing cracks 70%, which I think, considering it's Reddit, is a real indication that, you know, gaming's doing something right in this particular, you know, not attacking people based on identifiable, immutable characteristics. Obviously, we would like to see these numbers be lower, but this is pretty good considering the bad reputation that gaming has. It would be nice to see how it compares to some non-gaming subreddits to see, you know, comparatively what is going on here. So name calling and insults in gaming community. Of course, this is like backup, right? Payday's back up there again. Okay, it's bad that it keeps ranking so high. Not in identity hate. Payday's nowhere in identity hate. It's not in the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10. Okay. So it's not in the top 10 in terms of identity hate, which I'm going to say is probably, you know, this is a list you don't want to be on. But, you know, like I said, it might be throwing it off. Insulting. Do we put insulting in the same category as identity hate? Most people don't. But again, we've got Payday up there. Rust is up there again. Dota 2, no surprise. Just the fact that it's a MOBA. I don't know what Our Days is. I don't know what's... Arc, is that a typo? There are typos here. Mountain Blade is back. RGTA, I guess, is a different subreddit than our Grand Theft Auto 5, which, okay. Battlefield again. Modern Warfare. Mortal Kombat. Again, Mortal Kombat, unless these are fighting games I don't know about. I think it's interesting that not terribly super well-known games are making these lists. I would suspect that means that the subreddits are not as well moderated as some of the more sort of professional ones, quote unquote. But again, the AI found things like karma is a bitch to be insulting, which obviously that's not a direct insult the way the top insult with the highest score was you're a fucking cunt if you do this. Okay, yeah, that's pretty insulting. But the most obscene gaming subreddits, Payday again. There's almost a purity in how Payday ranks here, isn't there? I mean, again, if you know anything about the Payday franchise, everybody's walking in with their eyes open. Again, though, Grand Theft Auto 5 is ranking fairly low. It's ranking below the PC gaming subreddit. Mortal Kombat, Battlefield, Black Ops 4, Modern Warfare. There, we sort of see a group of 5 or 6 usual suspects, right? That are overall, one could argue, worse than Grand Theft Auto, and have put a real forward-facing, oh no, we're good now, we're running a clean ship now, when there's still toxicity. Now, with Call of Duty might be ranking a little high here because of the meme press F to pay respects. The press F to blank meme pops up a lot on my Twitch channel too, and in my YouTube comments. It is just a meme, but the AI flagged anything with the letter F as if it's in like I guess a placeholder for fuck, but typed in all caps was intended to be considered more obscene. Shorter, abrupt sentences. I think this obscenity, I mean, the classic line about obscenity is, I'll know it when I see it, which means it is incredibly subjective, which is why things like the identity hate chart, I think, are more informative than just obscenity, right? Obscenity is in the eye of the beholder. So, most threatening gaming subreddits. Again, Mountain Blade is the one that, like, what? Okay, it's been on every other thing, but apparently an in-joke is, I will drink from your skull, which is basically all your base are belong to us. It was treated as a threat. None of these, again, though, we take out that anomaly, which is clearly an anomaly. None of these communities are terribly threatening. These are actually pretty good numbers. Good on you. It's nice to see them this low, considering the fear for our lives narrative that happens in gaming, right? So we take the good with the bad. And so their conclusions that I will address are toxicity absolutely exists in the many communities of gaming and shows itself in many ways. Okay. Toxicity exists in any online community, period. Players of even the most innocuous games may still be exposed to some forms of toxicity, such as obscenity, insult, identity, hate, more. And it says, it was also made obvious that the fact of much what those outside of the world of gaming might consider toxicity is actually a form of community building, which is an interesting observation. It says violent language, dark humor, and playful banter appear to be par for the course for many of these communities. While the literal words we see on the page may surprise or even shock, a large portion of these communities are simply speaking a language unique to their own. True understanding of the depth of toxicity within these circles will take much more research and more powerful tools in the future. So that's fair, right? But what I did, and this is the part where they said, don't show it because it's not pretty, but go ahead and read it, which I thought was really important. I asked them for the least toxic gaming communities. And quite frankly, the examples are all over the map. Assassin's Creed is the 10th least toxic community. Yay. With 39.3%. So a good, 20 points lower than the top 10. No, 40 points lower, isn't it? In terms of toxicity, in terms of overall toxicity. Let me look at that chart again. I don't want to talk out my butt, as funny as that is in an Ace Ventura kind of way. 72.8 is the highest. So we're about 30-ish points. That's good. Okay. Star Citizen, which they must heavily moderate their community because there's a lot of hate out there for that game. I'm surprised people didn't go on there just to troll. The Sims. All right. I hate The Sims, but when you're right, you're right. Well done. Star Citizen is at 39.1%. The Sims at 37.6%. Star Wars: The Old Republic, 37.4 out of 100. Magic: The Gathering, the Magic TCG subreddit with 35.1. Animal Crossing. I'm surprised Animal Crossing is this high. 33.4. Like, there must be a lot of fuck you furry going on there or something like that. Because how did Animal Crossing get a 33? City Skylines, 30.8. How do you trash talk? I love City Skylines. So, I don't know how you be toxic in that. Maybe people are like, it's fucking broken. Fix your fucking street pathfinding or something like that. I don't know. Dwarf Fortress, 29.8%. An indie game made by 2 people that has been around forever, which indicates that my claims about, Dota 2 is just its own thing. No, Dwarf Fortress has been around for a while, and they managed to keep it clean. True Gaming, which I guess is a general subreddit, I guess. And Astroneer has the absolute lowest level of toxicity at 23.4%. So, if you're looking for a community to talk about stuff, those are the ones that are relatively, but I mean, hats off to, Animal Crossing, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and Assassin's Creed. For all of Battlefield, we do social justice now. These companies that are, it's interesting though, because Star Wars: The Old Republic was the BioWare game before they went super social justice-y. And the ones I don't see on any list are things like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, which means they're somewhere in between. So, I gotta give Assassin's Creed credit, because even with all the anger around Unity, Assassin's Creed Unity, and the ups and downs that franchise has had over the years, including a very mediocre movie, they still manage to, whoever's running it, I don't know if it's fans or if it's Ubisoft running that, that's probably, that and The Sims, I hate The Sims, are probably the 2 biggest community. Animal Crossing too. So Assassin's Creed, The Sims, Animal Crossing, those are pretty sizable communities. And those are like super popular games. And they run a clean ship. So good for them. And good for the smaller games too that manage to run a clean ship and don't go, but we're small, we can't stop them. So I think the reason I wanted to, what are the least toxic ones? And they do have legitimately low scores. It's not just like, oh no, it's a point spread of like 10. I wanted to show that it is possible. Assassin's Creed, you're stabbing people violently, you're murdering people in that game. Granted, it's not a fighting game, but again, we don't see Street Fighter appearing on any top 10 toxicity lists. So even though there are some glaring anomalies, which the article, the researchers called out rightly, which is important. It gives more, when you call out the anomalies, it gives your remaining data better legs, because you're going, okay, ignore that one. We goofed on that one. The rest of it is something that makes more sense to us. Is anybody terribly surprised? I think that the relatively low ranking of Grand Theft Auto is a surprise, which tells us something. It tells us that the people that say that, those games are satire and not glorifying bad behavior are accurate. So I think they should be given credit for that. I think people should lay off Grand Theft Auto some. But these other communities, the Call of Duty communities, Mortal Kombat, communities like that, this should be a wake-up call that League of Legends is trying. They're still up there. But, these are big games with the money to do community properly. And they're failing. And I think that's really, really important. You know, maybe there's names in the Mortal Kombat fatalities, like, you know, spine ripping and things like that, that boost their score a little bit. But, you know, especially that identity hate category, anybody who's on that, and in fairness, Mortal Kombat's not on that one. But freaking Oblivion, man. Like, what's going on in that community? Did something happen? Anyway, Overwatch, like, clean up your damn act, right? This shouldn't be happening. Other communities can manage. So can you. You can't just say, oh, we're too big or oh, we're too small. No, companies of all sizes and games of all sizes with all sizes of fan bases manage to do well, manage to do not so well. This stuff doesn't just happen. And that's why I wanted to kudos to Magic the Gathering for being there at all, because it's a card game. But maybe there's I'm so out of it with that. Maybe there's like an online version of Magic the Gathering. I don't know. But you know, communities like City Skylines and Dwarf Fortress and stuff like that. I mean, City Skylines has a really good mod community, but so did, you know, Elder Scrolls and stuff. I think. Was it Elder Scrolls or Fallout? I can't remember. Or both. Oh yeah. Elder Scrolls had the interesting NPC mod, didn't it? For Skyrim? Don't remember. Anyway, do better, man. Like, now we have the beginnings of data, so these companies can't hide behind excuses anymore. If you're ranking higher than Grand Theft Auto on anything, take a good look in the mirror. I'm not saying this is like foolproof. I'm not saying it's like the be all end all, totally accurate. I'm saying it's a reason for these communities to take a good hard look in the mirror, and for these communities that did well, to not let up, to keep doing what they're doing, and it probably gives them incentive to do even better. Because the one thing I will say is that really, really like rigid rules, if you step on people's necks so much, no, you're going to get more toxicity instead of less. And I think that these communities that didn't do so well could be looking at the communities that did better. Like maybe Mortal Kombat may want to look at what the Street Fighter community is doing to be less toxic. So I'll leave it there. Interesting stuff. And thanks. I really appreciate the additional information that the publicist sent me, because it rounded out my opinions on the whole thing. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Hope you found this interesting. If you want to go through and read it, because I know you guys love data, I will link to the original Clutch article, as it asked me to, at the bottom, in the description box of this video. The least toxic things, again, are not on that because the graph isn't pretty enough for them to publish. So maybe I'll kick the patrons that too, telling them that it's, you know, whatever. I'll think about that. But yeah, it's thank you for that. That was interesting. And if you like this sort of thing, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Thanks for watching.